Welcome to Film Freaks. This is Justin Llewellyn.
And Eddie Williams.
And tonight we're going to pretty much finish off one of our last films of 2017 that we missed. We're going to be talking about David Ayer's Bright, which is the Netflix film that came out in December that me and Eddie finally got a chance to watch after pushing it off for a while and had other things come up, and we decided to finally get a chance to check it out. So Bright is directed by David Ayer and stars Will Smith as a LA cop who teams up with an orc police officer played by Joel Edgerton. And basically it's a world that is where both humans and mythical creatures are able to be at peace with each other after some stuff that happened like thousands of years ago where they were in a raging war. And so
it's basically like taking real life, taking the events of End of Watch, which was one of David Ayer's films, and Training Day, and mixing it with taking all the elements type motherfuckers and putting it into one film.
Yeah.
That's basically what describes it.
Yeah, and you could tell because, I don't know what it is, but David Ayer really likes to do cop movies.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, he kind of reminds me of how Martin Scorsese likes to do gangster movies all the time. But what's cool about them two directors, David Ayer and Martin Scorsese, when they go back to their original roots of the shit they always keep doing and being known for, they never get old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because
David Ayer, he still makes strong cop movies. Martin Scorsese makes really strong gangster movies still.
Yeah, and David Ayer, I've had a lot of respect for ever since he started doing like his other films he did, like Street Kings and Harsh Times, things like that, those gritty type movies set in LA. He likes to use that setting a lot, and I'm always looking forward to every one of his movies that take place in that setting.
Yeah.
And, basically, to get back to the story, this film basically also stars Noomi Rapace, Edgar Ramirez, and the guy from Neighbors, Ike Barinholtz. Yeah, that's the guy's name. And this film basically deals with Will Smith's character, who, after some stuff that happened some years back, he has to basically go throughout the rest of the film working with the orc named Jacoby, played by Joel Edgerton. And them two are pretty much having to work together, kind of patrolling the streets and stuff, while it's up to Smith's character to find evidence to prove that he could to get Joel Edgerton's character to confess that he saved his life from years back from a crime that happened. And the rest. And then
while that happens, you got pretty much the whole story goes is not going into too much detail for spoilers, but there's this pretty much they have to some shit goes down after discovering somebody had a wand on them or something.
Yeah,
it was pretty much a wand that's pretty much it's established that wands are like possessing weapons in this world.
Yeah, they are. They're basically powerful weapons that are out of this world that possess like more power than pretty much anything that could pretty much take over things and also
basically it's illegal.
Yeah, and
it's illegal.
While at the same time there's also there's other things going on, such as these mythical elves that are pretty much after Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, where they're pretty much these vicious people that kill anyone in their way trying to get to them, trying to get to this wand in order to uncover this ancient evil that they're trying to bring back. And we'll leave it there because we don't want to spoil anything, but as you can pretty much tell, as I could tell from the trailers, like I was really, really looking forward to this movie because the idea of David Ayer doing a cop-like movie, mixing with fantasy, I was really on board with.
I was too. It looked because David Ayer was going to make it strong with the whole cop part, so I was actually really anxious to see. And when I saw the trailers, I did like the whole End of Watch Training Day feel to it. I thought that was what they were going to really stick with. I was like, you know what? This actually would be pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, and not just that, but it also this is the second time that Ayer has worked in this type of fantasy type setting after Suicide Squad. So it made me wonder if he was basically combining all his other movies into like that same world.
Yeah.
And then also keep in mind too, this film was also written by Max Landis, who is the son of John Landis, and he's a screenwriter who worked on other films such as American Ultra, Victor Frankenstein, and there's supposedly going to be a remake of American Werewolf in London. But basically, I'm not going to go into detail with it, but there's controversy surrounding this guy because there's been some stuff going on with him, like on Twitter and everything, that's caused a lot of flack, and a lot of people, it's just a long, controversial thing. But basically, he had a role in this film, writing and everything, and I can say that after seeing the film, that I didn't mind it so much, because when I was hearing the reviews and everything, I felt like people were giving it at least critics were giving it way too much flack on calling it like the worst film of 2017.
Yeah, now not only them, I remember when it first came out, there was a lot of people jumping on board the critic dick, and everybody was going out of this world saying this could be potentially the worst film in like 5 years. I was like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way that could be. I mean, there's sometimes when you don't see a movie and you kind of see trailers and a scene or two, there's no way you can, like, say, oh my god, there's no way they can be that bad.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Really shitting on this film.
Yeah. Now, while this film does certainly have quite some flaws to it, I can honestly say that I have seen way worse films than this of 2017.
Yes. And in fact, this movie is just upon average, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So to pretty much get into my pros out of the way, I'll say that it was, of course, I always like Will Smith in all these type of movies, and I liked his performance in this. I thought him and Joe Edgerton had a lot of great chemistry together. They had a lot of funny banter back and forth, fucking with each other. And because
I did like the banter. I did like the banter back and forth. I thought they had great chemistry, and I liked both of their performance. But I really like Joe Edgerton as that orc. I was really getting into that orc.
Yeah, I think that he's the one who pretty much has the most like fleshed out storyline, so to speak, because he's just wanting to be pretty much a good cop. He wants to do the right thing.
Oh, and I want to review this. I want to also reveal this too. Not really a spoiler. So in this world, I do see what David Ayer was trying to do, where he was trying to pay, not homage, I wouldn't call it homage, you don't want to pay homage to this, but I think that he was bringing in a lot of race elements that actually exist today.
Yeah, the film...
How orcs are considered, how, a lot of people feel, other races feel.
Yeah.
Like some people feel towards other races. So there's a lot of, like, racism, like, elements in this. Like, orcs is, like, considered a race, so, like, they're, like, people are racist towards them.
Yeah.
It says they commit the most crimes and hate it and all that.
Yeah, I will at least give him credit that he at least tried to do something with that social commentary. I did kind of feel like it wasn't really doing much. Like it didn't really know what it was trying to be, but I'll get to that later. But to go back to my pros, I'll say that, the rest of the performances are good too. I like seeing, Noomi Rapace as the villain. I thought she was pretty brutal in this movie, especially with a lot of the shit that she does. I won't go into detail.
She reminds me of?
What?
She reminds me of if you took 30 Days and Nights vampire-ish type feel, and you kind of, like, where it got to the club scene and the parts where, like, her and her hench people are helping her out.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of, like, scenes from, like, Blade mixed with Underworld.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It kind of felt like Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and another thing, too, I give credit is that I like the way that the film mixes the fantasy elements with this world that they've set up. Especially with how we're pretty much getting to some of the places that they go to that I think really work on a visual standpoint, because I will say that David Ayer, whoever his cinematographer is, like, he really likes to give that visual look, like very gritty
I like
type
to comment
of.
on that too. Yeah, you are right about his visuals on that. And the funny thing is, there's a lot of scenes in here, the way his camera work is, that does remind me of watching Into Watch.
That and
He
also
does a lot of camera work like that.
That and a lot of the visual style that he's going for is very reminiscent of Suicide Squad, which I highly enjoyed that look too.
Yes, I agree with you on that. And not only that, it does try to do like that whole LA kind of feel at the beginning.
Yeah.
With the whole like really LA kind of South Central, you feel like you're kind of watching a Training Day.
Yeah, and that's
update. Yeah, so I enjoyed that. I could see when he did like the whole Hispanic, Mexican, like bad, gangster thing. I could see what was really funny about that is David Ayer did a film a couple years ago called Into Watch. And a lot of those people were actually playing Mexican gangsters in that movie.
Yeah.
That actually plays in this movie. Like, he had him come back.
I know. He really likes working with a lot of the same cast in his movies.
So that was pretty cool. And I also will say this as another pro, this movie was gory.
Oh, it was. That's what I was kind of going back on. Like, another things I appreciate with movies like this is how much brutality you can go with. Because if you look at this film, it was released on Netflix, right? It could have easily been a theatrical film because the film doesn't even look like it really looked like it could pass as a theatrical movie. Yep. You know? Especially with the brutality scenes they go into detail with, especially in the club scene, and then later on later on in the film it's basically when you see the main villains show up that it starts to get really fucking brutal.
Oh yeah, and I'm not going to explain every detail, but I'll give you guys a little teaser. The part where she tears into that dude's throat in detail.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, not just that, but I did like some of the lore that they kind of established in this film. Like there are some cool ideas that I do like what they were doing at first.
It looks like a very original, fun film. That's what I will give it credit for. It looks like David Ayer was actually trying to make something interesting and fun.
Well,
I will give him that.
I'll give it to an extent because there are some cool things that I like.
I will tell you later on my other problems, but you can see that he was trying to do something different. And that's actually good because we need something like that.
Yeah, and plus I did like the stuff that was surrounding like this girl that they find who's pretty much another elf who has like a history with, or who has like something about her that I kind of liked later on in the film that they establish. And but really, other than that, though, besides some of the ideas that they really mesh well with this film and the stuff that they do try to build up with, I was going on with and everything. But now this is pretty much where I get to my cons, and I'll say that while I do appreciate them trying to build this world, it felt like the film was very not really figuring out what it was trying to do, because there's a lot of stuff where we have multiple villains that keep showing up throughout the movie that I felt just came and went. Like,
yes. Not only that, there's a lot of people that just villains itself, but you have people similar to the dude that has like that big old white dude that walks with him everywhere, that one elf, and you basically have him walk around, and it's like characters like him really don't serve a purpose later on in this film. I'm like, okay, why was he in this a lot like he was going to be something big?
Yeah, and not just that,
so there was a lot of that too. I'll also say that even though I do like the attempts to bring the worlds, but whenever they go into like the fairies world or the elves world, whatever, I notice that it's like kind of like shit says like district this and that and this and that. There's no like really explanation. Did it happen 10,000 years ago? How did this come about?
Yeah, that's where I also get into one of my cons, where I felt like the lack of history really makes it seem kind of. It's basically how I described with the Dark Tower film that came out. I felt like the world that they have built up into this, it's interesting on what they try to establish, but it's not executed well because we have a lack of history, and I felt like the structure probably could have worked a lot better as a TV series. Because there's a lot of stuff in this film that they try to cover, that they're trying to mesh together with, that I felt like could have been a lot better developed if it was more as a TV series. Yeah,
and I will agree with the whole villains. Like you have so many villains. You have Mexican gangs. You have bad orcs. You have those elves going after them. Then you have crooked cops going after them. And it's like, okay, this movie ain't long enough to keep up with all this.
Yeah, and not just that, but I felt like even though I enjoy Noomi Rapace's performance in this, I did feel like she really just was your typical villain. Like, she didn't really have anything as far as, she was just there. Like, I mean, she does some brutal shit, but that's really it about her. She doesn't really have anything much about her character that I really got into.
Here's my thing that me and Justin might have a little disagreement on, and this is my feelings of the film. The whole end of watch training day thing, and if you would have got rid of like the whole stupid district bullshit and just made it like like where it just looks like LA, but like like an alternate universe where all these elves and everybody lives together, I think I would have rather saw that than this.
Yeah,
because I really didn't care for that whole. And with those elves, the ones that are after them, they were too standard. I felt like it was too Final Fantasy-ish at the end.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't really care about this. I actually really was hoping a more grittier Street Kings. I was hoping they were going to do that kind of method with the orc and Will Smith.
Yeah,
I was hoping for that. I didn't care for the whole fantasy thing, to be honest with you. I really didn't. I liked the first big thing, for the first half better.
Yeah, I could see with that because that also makes me feel like when it leads to our climax, I felt like it was the most like predictable and most very anticlimactic probably fight or battle that I probably seen because I pretty much knew beat for beat was going to happen, and I didn't feel anything with it.
Yeah,
I thought it was too quick, so I'll leave it at that because I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, it's really quick, and if I have any other complaints,
I'll say also the dialogue, even though.
Do you notice there was parts where David Ayer was really trying to drag the movie out longer than it should have been? Like the part where, not really a spoiler, but it's kind of like you kind of know the part right at the end where the orc's coming out of the fire type thing, and then he runs back in. I'm going to leave it at that. That doesn't explain anything, spoiler. But you get what I'm saying? It's like, what was the point in that?
Well, not just that, but I also felt like, now this kind of goes back to the writer, Max Landis. I felt like even though I was laughing at parts with the stuff where Will Smith, some of the humor that they add with the film is pretty funny at times, I did feel like at times it felt really it felt very repetitive and kind of cringy at times, to the point that a lot of the stuff that they're saying in the film just felt very cartoonish.
Yep.
You know, and I felt it was kind of nerve-wracking on a couple of dialogue sequences.
Yeah, there is. It is. I get what you're saying. This is where the part where they talk in certain parts, where it does feel like a very Netflixy release film.
Yeah.
Because some of the dialogue really drops for such a film that felt like a theoretical film.
Yeah, absolutely. But other than that, though, I felt like the film overall, I didn't mind it so much. I just felt like because of that climax, I felt very underwhelmed upon seeing it because I was actually kind of going along with where the movie was kind of going with it, especially when they set up toward the end. But I felt like because of that climax, it pushed it down a little bit for me. So I'm going to give the film a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm with him on the same grade, 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was really just your average Joe, which, by the way, if you ask, we are doing our new grade, but this is a 2017 film, and we established that if we do anything 2017 related, we'll close it out with the number rating. But yeah, it's just average. To me, I'll probably just like, hey, it was a good watch. Yeah, it's average. I probably won't even care about watching it for years.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, but
it's still fun. It's still pretty cool. I own it.
Yeah, but if they were to make a sequel to it, because I hear that Ayer does want to do another film, I'd probably be curious about it to kind of see if they'll probably, maybe establish better things with it and all. So I'd be curious with it because I do like the world they've set up. I just wish it was more executed better.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I wish it was really executed better. But now that you bring that up, I kind of think of it now. Yeah, I would like to, even though I call it a very average film and the grade I gave it, I would like to see an actual big world like him do a bunch of movies like this.
Yeah, it would be cool. Netflix. Yeah. So with that being said, for those of you who have also seen Bright, let us know in the comments of what you thought about it, and if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe and check out our other reviews on our website at filmfreaks.com and on here, and we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.